Hey everybody, your old pal Tekking here. Although this video I'm probably just going to go out of character and just talk to you guys in more like a vlog format instead of a actual like professional like video with like a structure. This was going to be a first impressions video. You know that series that I started back in like 2012 and I only did like 4 episodes of? Yeah, I was going to do something like that with Akame ga Kill, where I was going to, like, talk a little bit about it, then watch the first episode, and then, like, jot down some notes and, like, give you my first impressions on it. I'm not going to do that just simply because this series has been hyped up for me so much, like, just from, like, watching, like, listening to Bonkai and everyone talk about it over the Anime Dev Squad Hangouts, and just not just from the YouTube community itself, but just from the internet in general. This series has been, you know, talked about being very popular. Same thing with Kill a Kill. Akame ga Kill, Kill a Kill. Put kill in your titles, anime, and then it instantly becomes awesome. Even Attack on Titan last year, when I did a first impression on that, I got some hype for that too, but I didn't really know a lot about the series. This one, I got a lot of knowledge of the series before I even read the first chapter, and honestly, I read the first chapter on Bonkai's request, and upon reading the first chapter, I was like looking at my my anime website. I mean, everybody out there has one anime website that they go to watch it when it gets released. Mine is NW Anime, in case you're curious. I've been using it for about 3 or 4 years. It used to be called NarutoWire.com, now it's called NW Anime. But anyway, I go on there like you know, like once a day just to check up, you know, what's new, and I discover there's a Kame ga Kiru anime, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's massively convenient. I just finished reading the first chapter, and now I have the anime, so it's not really a first impression. I want to just make a video just so I have evidence to the fact that Akame ga Kiru is just fucking amazing. Wow, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming, because, you know, I'm usually, when I watch a new anime that everyone's just talking about, I'll be honest with you, 7 out of 10 times, I leave kind of disappointed. Not because the series is necessarily bad, but look at Attack on Titan, for instance. When you hear about something hyped up to such an insane degree, when you watch it, you expect it to be like the most, like the cutting edge new anime. Like, this is gonna redefine the freaking genre when you watch it. If people, like, the way people were talking about Shingeki no Kyojin last year, that was the impression I got. Like, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna watch the first episode, and my mind is just gonna be blown to the back of my freaking room. You know, I'm gonna click pause, and I'll be like, what the hell? And there's like a hole in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, my brain got blown out of my skull. That's how awesome that was. And I didn't get that. So, you know, I should really just start watching the series when they first pop up. Like, when somebody first mentions, you know, Kill a Kill, I should have just went and watched Kill a Kill right away, so I didn't have time for everyone to elaborate on it. But no, Akame ga Kiru, I felt like that really just changed it. Like, that was awesome, you know, okay? And it took me a while, just like all these thoughts were like racing around in my head after I watched it. Like, why do I find this so good? Why do I not feel the urge to, like, skim around through the episode? Because I do that sometimes. In an anime, when I feel like there's, you know, slow bits going on, I'll, like, skim through the episode. And I shouldn't do that, I know, but that's just, like, a personal habit. And I do that with manga, too. If I'm reading, like, especially with first chapters of series, which are going on for, like, the first chapter of Akame ga Kiru is, like, what, like 88 pages or some such? But, all 88 pages, I was like, this is freaking good. And the anime just kind of, like, stuck it in my head there. And I had to kind of like sit down and give it like just a little bit of thought of why I think it's so good and why I think that it deserves like one of the titles of like one of the best animes I've ever seen, or like the best mangas I've ever read, because I've read more of the manga, obviously. I think that there's only the first episode of the anime that's out, but in terms of the manga, I've read beyond the first chapter, and it's really freaking good. And you know what I discovered? I discovered 2 things. Number 1, this main character, Tatsumi, is one of the most likable main characters I have seen in a long time. And the thing about main characters that makes them difficult to kind of relate to the audience is that they are the keystone of the entire series. like, without the main character, there would be no series. Like, you can't have Bleach without Ichigo. You can't have Naruto without Naruto. Now some people might be saying, like, oh, well, it's not all about the main characters. Like, yes, it is, because the whole reason we're seeing the series, or we're reading the series, depending on the medium, is that we're following the main character's journey to the end. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole reason we're there. When I'm reading One Piece, One Piece has a very diverse cast of characters with the Straw Hats, but, any of the Straw Hats could die. And the story could continue. If Luffy's gone, that's it. The whole fucking story crumbles underneath itself. So, the main character is the keystone. That's like by definition. But the thing is also with that is you have to be worried about making your main character, like this, I call it Lancelot syndrome, where it's basically like he's just like, Lancelot, he's a knight, he basically embodies the idea of valor and pride, and, he'll never let his friends down, and he'll protect all of his comrades in arms, and, he's just the holy knight. He is just like the lawful good in the purest sense of the word. And that's why, you have to be careful about not making your main characters cliche, because I gotta say, in a lot of series, how many series is the main character your favorite? Like, hands down, how many people out there, when reading Bleach, think of Ichigo as their absolute favorite character? I'm sorry, I can't say that. I can't say that with Naruto. I can't say that with One Piece. I can't even say that with Toriko or Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist is probably the one that comes closest to that, because Edward I found very likable. But what I'm getting across here is that authors of works have a lot of shit to balance their main character, and they have to be careful to not make him overshadowed by anybody else, but they also have to make him likable enough so that you'll want to keep reading the series. So there's a lot of stuff you need to balance. So that's why we get a lot of main characters that are usually driven by either revenge, or they're just driven by a sense of wanting to protect their friends, like the Lancelot syndrome. That's why I get pissed off every time Ichigo shows up in a battle and he says to Ginjo or Aizen, like, Aizen, I'm gonna protect my friends. I'm like, no shit, you're the main character of a fucking shonen manga. That's the bare minimum of what you're supposed to do. If you want me to be invested in this character, you need to give me more than just, I want to protect my friends, I need to get stronger, I need to blah blah blah, because that's the bare minimum of what they're supposed to do. You have to give me a little bit something more added to that. And the thing with Tatsumi is he kind of breaks away from all those typical cliches that bind a main character. He's not going to the capital. He's not off on this quest. He didn't get strong because, like, to avenge the death of his father, or because his mom got eaten by a giant hellspawn, or because he wants to be just the strongest, person. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the capital and become the court, the general of the army. Like, he's not doing that. He's not going there to find untold riches. He's going there to basically just, well, for one reason, the reason they give in the manga is kind of like, it's lightly touched upon, but, he's going there to want to save his village. Basically, he lives out in this village, and the world is kind of stricken by, monsters and just by famine, and he's basically living in this village that has a lot of starvation and everything. But here's the thing with that. They lightly touched upon that, but here's the thing. The way I looked at it was that Tatsumi's village isn't... It's kind of like in squalor, people die there often, famine is an issue, but at the same time, it's not like the only village that's like this. Like, the entire world is like this. This is just the world you grow up in. And I can see it that Tatsumi and his friends are just, like, as little kids, they're living in this village, and, there's people starving around them, and, they're just trying to live as best as they can, and they're training to live in this world, and when they get old enough, they're just like, okay, it's our turn to go out and see if we can help this village. Probably the same thing that a lot of other people have done in the past in this village, like, like, oh, well, I'm gonna go out and try to save the village, oh, we couldn't do it, and now it's just Tatsumi and his friends' turn, okay? But at the same time, it doesn't seem like, this is his driving force throughout his entire life, like, I'm gonna go save this village, and that's the only thing that motivates me. A lot of what motivates him is just the idea of exploring the world, and just, seeing the places. He's lived in this country his whole life. He just wants to see the capital, and, he's gonna try to save his village because that's where he's grown up, but also it's a part for him just to kind of adventure, and it's call to adventure. It's freaking awesome. I like it. I got so invested in this character, and just like the first freaking scene he shows up in, and he cuts that fucking earth dragon in like 16 pieces and mincemeat. That was awesome. And the thing that really drove it home, though, the thing that really, like, made me, like, near the end of the episode that I really just, love this freaking series, is that it is such a great allegory on how, how life is, and how, like, a child's coming of age, and, like, learning about how the world works and everything in real life. Like, I'm going back to college in the fall. I swear to God, I could write a whole freaking goddamn thesis paper on the comparisons between Akame ga Kiru and, like a child, growing up, and he's like, oh, I have whimsical intentions, I'm gonna conquer the world, and then he just gets bitch slapped into the ground, because that's what happens with Tatsumi. He starts off on his adventure with such a childlike innocence and just in wonder, and then he gets to the capital and he finds out what's really going on behind the scenes, and it feels like a massive bitch slap. It's just like, this is what the world is like, but he doesn't let it shake him. He doesn't let it break him. He realizes that the world is a lot more scary than he ever could have imagined, but he's gonna fight it, and you get the impression he's gonna win. Just from the fact of that crazy princess chick, who's going, like, at the end of the episode, who's basically going on that long rant about how, what's wrong about me torturing these country bumpkins? They're just pigs, essentially, and then Tatsumi, he takes his sword. What's he do? Does he try to talk to her? Does he try to give her a pep talk of why her views are wrong? No, he just cuts the bitch fucking in half. It seems logical. That's what I love. He's making a logical decision. He's discovered what the capital really is, but he doesn't get, knocked aback by it. He doesn't, like, freak out like, this isn't what it was like. This isn't what it was supposed to be like. He comes to grips with it immediately, and then he realizes, okay, this is what the people here are like, and then he cuts her down because she tortured her friends. And the thing with the princess chick is the fact that her speech, the reason it wasn't, I mean, that's like the main point of, like, the entire first chapter of the entire first episode, that really, like, her face becomes twisted and freaking demonic, and she goes spouting off this monologue here. The thing that freaked me out was not the fact of the monologue itself, just the fact that this is the dogma of everybody in the capital. It's not like this one bitch is the only one that's spouting this stuff. Everybody that lives here, that's in the upper tier, that's in royalty, essentially, has these views of everybody else in the world. Like, views everybody as, like, a lower class, right? And this is like basically the words of an establishment being personified in this one greedy, self-centered bitch. And then Tatsumi cuts her down, basically just like, okay, well, if this is the way it's like, then I'm gonna change this crap. And it was such a sense of, like, I felt like I was a little kid for a second there. I felt like, I was like a 6 or 7-year-old kid watching this on Toonami and just being, like, at the edge of my seat, being, like, interested in what's going to happen next for next week, okay? Because I remember that. I remember being so young and so susceptible to, like, any kind of story or animation. Like, I like Naruto. Okay, maybe not so much now, but go back a couple years, I was a decent fan of Naruto, but that doesn't, like, when I was a kid, when I was, like, 2005, when I was 12 years old and I first watched Naruto, I thought it was, like, the most amazing thing in the fucking world. I didn't think there was anything better than this. Now, you can laugh at me if you want, I was, like, 12, and I was like, like, this is something crazy. I got that impression from watching this. I felt like a glimmer of that same experience, and I love that. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to keep this up. I'm definitely going to be watching this, and I might make another video about it or two later down the line. I'm still currently reading the manga. It's been one of the better animes that I've seen in the last couple years, like, and that's real talk right there. And next to Sword Art Online, of course. And am I comparing Akame ga Kiru to Sword Art Online? Yes, I am. Yes, I did. Yes, I like them about both equally right now. I'm awaiting your angry letters.